Now let's talk about the design workspace. So the design workspace is this window you see here. As I said, this is the place where a developer works most of his time. Design workspace, it shows both business models and job designs. You can lay them out here, you can edit them, you can view them, you can configure different components, you can do so many things in the workspace. Actually, whatever you do, you design all your jobs and business models here. You write code to your routines here. You create SQL, not SQL templates, maybe that's different wizard, but most of the stuff happens here. You will only see the objects or shapes related to the business model. You don't see anything else in the workspace, okay? But whereas if you open a job, here below you will get two tabs. One is designer, one is code. What Talent basically does is it generates Java code, okay? But instead of writing the code for yourself, what you can do is you can drag and drop all these components, and in the background it creates Java code for you. So it's Talent, this tool is like a Java code builder, okay? So this designer is the graphical representation of that particular code. But sometimes what happens is expert Java developers, they want to write the code instead of so some stuff you cannot, some functionality or business requirement you cannot implement it here. So what they want to do, they want to write their own Java code. So what you can do, when you click on the code, it opens the code version of the graphics that you just saw, and it also shows if you have any warnings or errors here. So you can write, a developer can write their own code here anywhere. So this code is just the representation of this one. So as you might have already figured out, is if you have to implement the same thing, you have to write a lot more code, as you can see here. So instead, by dragging and dropping 10 components, voila, you got your pretty job here. And this is like more appealing than that code, right? Dragging and dropping this, anybody can do it, but writing that code, hell no. Okay, so those are those two options, and those two tabs are available only for jobs, not for the business model. And as I said earlier, depending on the node type that you are creating or the object type you are creating, the palette changes. And we already spoke about palette, but let me explain you once again. This is, so palette, you have a search button here. You can, so since you have so many, like 900 or so components, you can search them. You can search anything, type something, click on the magnifying glass, then you will get the search items. You can search, or if you know you are going to use a particular component again and again and again, you can just right click it and click on add to favorite. So here, if you see, there is favorites, all your favorites will be here. So you can access from here directly instead of going to those particular, as you can see here, you can access from here itself directly instead of going to particular folder category, and again there will be so many folders. So you can do it from here itself, okay? And then you have the filter. So filter, when you click on filter, it will go there. If you want to remove any folders from here, for example, if mostly you won't be working on all the components obviously in a project. For example, you might not be using ESB, so you can filter them out so it won't show here. You might not be using .NET, you might not be using data quality, it seems it you cannot filter that. Anyways, some of the components will stay there. You might not be using cloud, so that's gone. So when you click OK, it will filter out all those things and it won't show you. Okay, I minimized. I don't want to do that. Okay, so it filtered. If you want to change that again, click restore, so it will bring you back everything. Then you have the minimize and place, and those are same things. Then when you right click, you saw add to favorite. Here everything is organized into folders, but if you don't want the folder structure and if you want the particular components listed, so right click and click on hide folder. So as you can see, it will display you all the components without the folder structure. If you want to undo that again, right click, display folder. And then you have layout. Do you want to lay out the list or columns? As you can see here, they went away. Now if you click layout list, they will show as a list. If you want to list them as icons, then they will be shown as icon. This is hard. If you want to test how much you know talent, you can do something like this and see which one is which. Then you have details. Okay, so when you click on that, it will give you the explanation of that. Maybe when you are initially practicing it, maybe you have to put that layout, but I am good with the list. And then you have use large icons, so they will be little large. That's it, nothing else. Then you have the settings, same things, same icons, details. Always close when opening another drawer, which means, for example, this is open when okay, this is open. If I want to open this, what happens? That one closes. So this one got closed. So I don't recommend, because sometimes what happens, I want to keep open multiple windows. But if that's not what you want, you can just go and never close. So automatically close when there is not enough room. What it does is it automatically closes the other window if there is not enough space here. And font restore default will restore all default options. Use large icons will use large icons. So those are the different options here. So those optional, not mandatory. So that's about the palette.